Hello and welcome to Books and Beer with me, Luke Richardson, and our secret surprise guest. Did you like, Steve, how I tried to G this up like it was, Tom Cruise or,
I, yeah,
someone really
I'm not sure how
famous?
much of a surprise it is since half of my people already knew.
I know, but
Surprise!
that's not the only surprise. We've got another surprise to talk about in a moment. In a moment.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah, as Steve and I's book is released this week, I thought I'd invite Steve on Books and Beer, and we'd do an episode dedicated to talking about Kayla, to talking about everything to do with that book, and explaining some things to you. And we've both got a drink. Here we go. We'll do that first of all.
cheers everybody. Happy
I'm
Wednesday.
having Happy Wednesday. This is a particularly lovely one, actually. Peaky Blinders Pale Ale.
Oh, wow,
Yeah, I really like it. So
that's great.
that's what I'm
That
having
means you have to
at the moment.
speak in a. Well, I surprisingly, I was in
Yeah,
tune live. I've got my Peaky's hat on.
there's some synchronicity going through here, obviously. Yeah.
Do we need to, we need to speak in a Peaky Blinders Brummy accent today.
I don't even think I could try. Let's have a quick jump over to the comments and see
I'll do
who's
that
joining
only on
us.
request.
Sorry?
I'll do that only on request.
We'll see if we get any requests. Right, Fiona's the first one in the chat. Hi Fiona, how are you doing? Are you well?
Hello, Fiona. Sunday.
And she says Siente, which is that cheers?
Yeah.
Cheers, Siente. There we go. It's good to see you, Fiona. I've missed you. I think were you here last week? It was a week you weren't here. Anyway, but it's nice to see that you're here anyway.
It's
Yeah,
worse.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Cheers, Fiona. Hope you're well.
Yeah. So, Steve, let's jump straight into the big guns here. What is going on with this book release?
Yeah. So as everybody knows, the launch date is this coming Friday, the 25th of June. But Amazon or KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, as everybody knows, is a pain in the proverbial arse, and they have cancelled our pre-order because they are saying to me that the manuscript was not loaded up to the system in time, which is absolute nonsense. It really was. It was loaded, everything was ready. As some of you eagle-eyed viewers know, the paperback has been available for a few days now, which clearly means the manuscript has been loaded in time, and they have since apologized and said it was their mistake, but that's too late. So anyone who pre-ordered, set them free. We apologize that the pre-order has been cancelled. It was totally Amazon's fault, as it always is. But anyway, still, Luke and I are sorry. So if you've got an email from KDP saying the pre-order is cancelled, don't be deterred. The price will stay the same for the next week, so you can just go out and buy it as you normally would. So thanks for your patience and understanding. But Amazon,
Yeah. It's one of those things, these things happen. But interestingly, and an interesting development here, as a bit of a thank you and an apology, what Steve and I have done, and this is, we're only telling people, you guys that are watching live or watching live after or watching afterwards, that it's actually available. It's actually available now to download. Yeah. So if you haven't got it yet, you can get on there and you can buy it now. And the reason we've done that is because, and we haven't told everyone, is because we wanted, after this sort of mess up, without being rude, we wanted to get it up there and to try it before we tell the thousands of people on our mailing list that it's there. So for you guys listening now, watching this afterwards, you can go and set them free, Kayla Stone's second book, right now if you want to. You don't have to wait until launch date.
You could consider yourselves a bit lucky, but actually it will be very helpful to us too if you were going to get it, or if you had your pre-order cancelled, if you did go and buy it today, and let us know how that works, because it's always a nervous process launching a book anyway, because of the logistics. There's very technical stuff, there's a lot to do in the background that you guys probably don't know, and things can go wrong. And this is another time it's gone wrong, but not because of us, it's because of Amazon. But if you are going to buy the book or have pre-ordered it, if you could just run and get it now and let us know how that goes, we'd be very grateful.
Whilst, yes, absolutely, that's the way to do it. And we are still going to have Friday as the official launch. We're going to talk about our launch party in a minute. And we're still going to do, we've still got our newsletters going out on Friday, and we're in our minds that's still the launch day, but we've put it up now just to sort of test it, check it works. I think they call that a soft launch in the business, don't they? So it's like you launch it a bit and then tell everyone about it afterwards when you're sure it works.
Soft, that means it can bounce a little bit to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. And any issues can be sort of pulled out. I'm going to read the blurb. I've got it on my screen here because I think this blurb's fantastic. And I think that
Luke, have you got the very latest updated one? Because I think I've tweaked a couple of things.
I'm reading it off the Amazon page. So if that's the latest one,
that should be the latest.
That's what I'm going for. It sounds great. I think it's a really good book. I've really enjoyed writing it, and we'll talk about the book itself in a minute. But here's what it's all about. Kayla Stone heads to Dubai with one thing on her mind: justice. But when the glimmering Arabian lights refuse to part with their secrets, Kayla must cross into the city's dark side. Attempting to bring down a global effort to kidnap and sell children, Kayla vows to stop the criminals in their tracks. This time the stakes are higher. This time even more lives are on the line. This time Kayla's fighting in unfamiliar territory. In an attempt to silence her own demons and bring down the Enterprise, Kayla follows a dark, twisting trail from the crystalline villas of the Palm to a disused oil refinery in the harsh desert. But can she stop the trade before it's too late? Or, in the desert land where death, deceit and dirhams are the currency, will she become just another sail? There we go. That's a little bit of a little bit of a peek into it.
I think we've nailed the blurb there. I think it's a great introduction to what I think is a fantastic story and one we're excited to share.
Yeah, I am. And I think, actually, I really like Set You Free, obviously. Great book. A lot of people have said they preferred this one, which for me is a bit like, I like that when the second one is better than the first, because it just ramps up and ramps up and ramps up. And I think that's the way it should be in a well thought out series.
Absolutely. And I know already, because, we've written it and I'm now editing it again. The final book just ramps up even further. So, and that doesn't take anything away from the previous, like Set Him Free was the novella, the prequel. That was great. But with Set You Free, I think we ramped it up again. Set Them Free is another step, another really positive step forward. So, great series. Really, really proud to be a part of this collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. Same. I think they're great, and I'm looking forward to having all three out and sort of just having them sort of done and finished, and getting some feedback from you guys at home when you've read all three and you see where things are going and what's happening. Those of you on the call in the comments who've read it, what did you think? I know I can see Alison is in there. Hi Alison, how are you doing? Let me just show you a comment. I know you've read it, Alison, and thank you for your review. I think it's already on Amazon, actually. I'll have a quick look. Fiona says she's not quite finished the book yet, but nearly. Loving it. Well, she also says she's not well from her second vaccination, sadly. Well, hopefully you'll recover quickly and can finish that and enjoy the end of the book when you're feeling a little bit better.
Exactly.
So yeah, Alison's review's on there already. Thank you so much for that. She says another fantastic book by us. Kayla Stone really has set the bar high with her fight for justice. Kayla still can't get Father O'Shea from her mind after he escaped her in Sydney, Australia, but she needs to move on with her life until she discovers that he might be in Dubai. She travels there with the hope of finding him and bringing him to the authorities. But she has little to go on apart from the hotel business card. I'm not going to read all of that because I don't want to give too many spoilers. But essentially, she goes on to say it's an action-packed thriller of a ride, which is always great to hear, because I thought so too. Oh, Andrew says, just purchased my copy. I'm crazy excited to get started. Brilliant. Thank you, Andrew. And yeah, so if you've only just joined us, the exciting thing is that Set Them Free, the second in the Kayla Stone series, is out now. Due to an Amazon error, Steve and I have released it 2 days early just to check it's working. We're not telling anyone apart from you on this call today, who are watching this live video today. So Go and get it. Go and download it. Just search that. Set Them Free on your in your Amazon store, and you'll find it. I think it's also in Kindle Unlimited, isn't it?
Yep.
KU user.
Yep.
So
you can subscribers.
So you can have it there as well. Yeah, absolutely. What then? I particularly like this one because I think I sort of, because I'm the one who had done the research in terms of travel to Dubai previously and wanted to set a book there. How did that come across to you, Steve, having not been there? Because it's one of the places that's on your, one of the rare places that's on your to be visited list, isn't it?
I've always been a bit intrigued by Dubai, the Middle East generally. I've been to some places in the Middle East, but I've never been to Dubai. But I have some quite good friends who live there for work, and a lot of people have traveled there, and I've never been. But when we discussed the series locations, we wanted to mix it up. We wanted one in on all the different continents. And you'd said you'd been to Dubai, and it just seemed a natural choice. And I think having read your on-the-ground insights, you really get a sense of place there, which is something we both aspire to in our books anyway. We've talked about this before, but I think setting is as much a character as the main characters in the story. And I think you especially has done a great job bringing that to life on the pages. That sounds like a cliche, but it's true. I've never been to the market where Kayla goes during the story, but I felt like I had been there. And I know it's very similar to markets I've been to in places like Tunisia and Morocco. Same kind of vibe. And I think we've nailed it, and especially your finer details really brings it to life.
Yeah, I liked the way that came out, and I also like the way there's a sort of another struggle in the story, isn't there? And it sounds a bit meta, but there's a struggle between the old city and the new city, and Nilza are. Who's a character that Kayla sort of befriends while she's there, is sort of stuck in the middle of that, and we see that through her local eyes. This idea that it's a city trying to push into the 21st century with a lot of Western ideals, skyscrapers and technology and all these sorts of things, but yet they've got this very reserved sort of background. This almost this old school sort of feel, which Kayla finds quite unusual, doesn't she? She finds almost a little bit unsettling, actually. She doesn't quite mesh with it, Right,
it's just like a subplot to the big story, which is trying to catch, the bad guys, put simply, i.e. Father O'Shea. But that's another internal battle. Can't say it's more important, but it's another struggle the world is facing. Stuck in some traditions are great, but some of the traditions that Nilza's up against in her life are antiquated and, quite frankly, a little bit dangerous to civilization. So, it's a secondary story, but one that's equally as compelling.
And it's also, I suppose, it's quite similar in the way that Set You Free worked, in that O'Shea was sort of masquerading as this priest, hiding in an older tradition, the religious tradition there. And sort of using people's faith, essentially, his faith in him and their faith in their beliefs for monetary and other gains, to get away with awful things. And actually, I think that's something that is that sadly is real. People do that a lot, don't you? You see that in all sorts of stories, in all sorts of places.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Without getting too much into religion and the rights or wrongs of it, which I have quite strong opinions on, but without getting
don't upset anyone.
That's again, it's that comes into our story quite a lot. People who you're smart in your books, in your Leo books, you don't really bring that kind of stuff into it, because that's probably a smart thing to do, but I can't help myself. I bring my own opinions into my stories, and we haven't really done that. We don't have an opinion about that.
No.
We just portray it as it is. This is a real life battle in a real life country that people deal with all the time. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Sort of raises the awareness of the struggles, but without giving too much of a slant to it one way or another.
It's a place like Dubai is a gift to a writer because there's so many places, and there's a scene in there where Kayla and Nilsa are watching the boats being loaded across the creek, and those things are that's all true. That happens. There's the old creek in Dubai that the government are trying to shut down because they don't like the newer one. Yeah. They've got the Port Rashid around the corner, the biggest container ship port in the world, but yet people still continue to use this tiny little one where only wooden boats are allowed, and they go overnight to Somalia and all sorts of other countries in the Middle East. Days and days and days that they'll go, and it seems crazy that actually but 2 miles away there's the biggest container port in the world, unloading millions of containers a year, and yet there's guys struggling to get boxes off this tiny little wooden boat just around the corner.
It's the juxtaposition. It's like the old and the new, the shiny and the rusty. It's as you said it very well, it's a writer's dream to use settings like that to bring extra character and texture into a story, because the main story is what's happening to the victims and the bad guys, but without these contexts of real life happening around the story, it's a much weaker story. You've got to have those juxtapositions.
Juxtaposition is a good word. I like putting that in my stories, and I think we've done a good job of it here. Let's have a quick jump over to the comments and see who's around. If you're watching this afterwards, of course, you can leave us a comment. It still notifies us that they're there. And if you're watching now, don't be a stranger. Say hello. Should you want to? You don't have to. You can watch silently too. Alison's in here. Hi, Alison. Good to see you. And she says she can just see the series getting better and better. Kayla is such a wonderful, strong character. Yes.
Lovely.
I love that. And she goes on to say that her sister-in-law goes every year to Dubai with work. And she said that I was spot on, or we were spot on with the description of Dubai. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. That's good to know.
Good news. Luke and I have had a discussion yesterday, quickly, of already plotting out books 4, 5, and 6 potentially to follow on from. I mean, this is only full-length book 2 coming out this week. Book 3 will follow in about a month or so, but we're already in discussions for books 4, 5, and 6. So we're taking this series very seriously, and it seems like people are enjoying it. So why not carry on?
Yeah, I think it has to happen, doesn't it? But I've loved doing them, and I think it has to be continued.
I think Luke will agree. If we decide to go ahead with that, which I'm almost certainly we will, we'll probably ask you guys where you would like to see Kayla go next.
That's a good idea.
Can we mention the book 3? Can we mention the setting?
Yeah, absolutely.
So book 3 is going to be in San Francisco mainly, and there's going to be a massive twist in that story that you will not see coming. But yeah, I mean, we could discuss it today, but where would you guys like to see Kayla? I mean, that's a bit of a spoiler. She survives book 3. Whoops.
Oh, I think we'd be really disappointed if she didn't survive book 3, wouldn't they? Can you imagine?
So India.
We wouldn't do that to you, ladies and gents. We wouldn't do that to you.
In India, she's been in Sydney, she's been in Dubai, obviously coming out this week, and she's going to be in San Francisco. So where would you guys like to see Kayla chasing bad guys next? I mean, everywhere's on the table.
What about somewhere in Europe? She's not been to Europe yet. And I'm just putting that there. We'll have a look. We'll have a look through the comments, and if you've got any ideas, put them in the comment and say why you think that's a great place. Steve Taylor's in the chat. Hi, Steve. Great to see you. How are you doing?
Sausage Taylor.
Yes. What's for dinner, Steve? He's always doing this whilst he's cooking, or burning his dinner, maybe, because we're so entertaining. And Fiona says, "Oh, brilliant! I'm loving Kayla," and she goes on to correct loving Kayla, which is great. I'm so glad you are. Interesting. So where else could she go? Like the problem I've got at the moment, Steve, is that I haven't done a lot of traveling recently for obvious reasons. So I'm sort of running out of places, of destinations to set my books. You know, I need to start going to some more places. You know,
you guys know I live in Mexico, and my hometown here is an amazing place for that kind of a story. I've already set 2 books in San Miguel, so I'm not sure San Miguel would be a good choice. But yeah, I mean, Europe, we have to think of it, guys. We have to think of it from a marketing point of view as well, not just a cool place. You know, it was a bit of a gamble setting a book in Australia because it's quite a small target audience in Australia, but it just seemed natural to set her there. But we have to think about those things. It's not just, let's put it in England or let's put it in, because it has to be a marketable place. Yeah. So setting it in a tiny village in I don't know, Hungary. Amazon doesn't even have a Hungarian account, so we're not being able to target Hungarian readers, for example. So we have to think about that. It's there
is a lot to consider, isn't there?
Yeah.
And I think also you have to consider the sort of place that is, and what that place adds, what texture that place adds to the story, because the place isn't just a backdrop; it is involved, isn't it, in the way that it is, and the politics of that place, and all of those sorts of things.
Yeah, Stephen Taylor has just put himself up as the bad guy for the next one.
Yeah, in Norwich. Yeah. for the whole next 3. That's it. Alison says maybe set in Ireland, which would be great. Yeah, which would be fantastic. Or Glasgow. Yeah. Do you know what? I don't feel like my books have explored the UK enough, and I've said this before actually, that somewhere like that somewhere in the UK would be good for one of them.
Absolutely.
Fiona says the south of France. Nice.
I think that's a good shout actually, because I've been to can't think of the names of the towns now. I've been to quite a few towns on the southern coast of France, on the Riviera.
Like
there.
Nice.
I haven't been to Nice, but I've been to Monte Carlo and 1 or 2 of those other towns. And there is a lot of this kind of trafficking and that kind of stuff going on down there. So that's not a bad shout, although I don't know it well enough myself to write from personal experience. So if you guys want to chip in and pay for mine and Luke's tickets, we'll go on a little trip for you. And thanks for that. Donations on my PayPal address, please.
Now we're talking. Research trip. Research jollies down to the south of France. Love it. Fiona says in Southern Ireland, we're having major problems with gangs and drugs at the moment. That's because you don't expect that, do you? Ireland's got this impression of sort of rolling hills and beautiful pubs and great music and all that. You don't expect there to have like the dark side, but I suppose every place does, and that's that's not the beauty. That's the sort of intrigue for us as writers.
You got the likes of Stephen Taylor in Norwich. Anything's, it's got its shady side, got its underworld.
Its underworld. Fiona says they have hitmen and mafia in Southern Ireland. Wow. Or in the Republic of Ireland. Amazing. Not amazing. I mean, it's serious stuff.
I was in the pub last night, and I was with a couple of my mates. We'd been out to watch the football, and we stayed out and had a few beers yesterday.
Of course.
And this guy walked in. He looked a pretty innocuous gringo, like American guy, I think. And my mate nudged me and said, "See that guy over there?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "He's a hitman." Honestly, he's a hitman. His business card, I'm not going to I don't remember his name, but I wouldn't say it anyway. But his business card apparently just says his name and a number. And apparently he's a bona fide hitman in my town. So
don't annoy him. Honestly, yeah. Gosh, yeah. So let's talk about Friday. What's the plan for Friday?
Plan for Friday is we'll do a launch party like this. I think the same time, 11 o'clock. 5 o'clock UK time.
Yeah, we can do 5 o'clock. I was thinking a little later, but I mean, we can do 5 o'clock if.
Whatever time you want, to be honest.
That's cool with you. I was thinking 7 because then it's more evening, isn't it? After dinner, beers time rather than
7 o'clock
cooking
UK
dinner.
time is 2 o'clock Eastern time. And lunchtime, midday lunchtime. Pacific time. So
So
Yeah,
it
that's
becomes
good.
a bit easier for everyone involved, doesn't it? If
Yeah.
we can do that. So 7 p.m. On Friday, we're going to do our official launch party, even though the book's out already. Waiting until Friday to do that because that's when it's officially out. And we're basically, if you came to the last one, you'll know exactly what it is. It's basically just an extended sort of chat. Me and Steve having a really nice time chatting about the book, talking about the inspirations behind the book, and talking about the next book. We'll probably have more than one drink, which means we give away a little bit more than perhaps we intend to give away, which might be an appealing thing for you to be watching. You never know. You might or hints as to what's coming up in book 3.
I think we'll have. Luke and I haven't just discussed this yet, so I'm going to spring it on him now. But I think we'll probably have a competition to give away a couple of paperbacks as well. But we don't know. Luke doesn't know. I didn't know I was going to say that. But I think we'll have we'll give away a few paperbacks on Friday.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah,
maybe. So tune in Friday for the chance of winning signed paperbacks.
Mate, we'll probably not sign paperbacks, Steve, because then they'd have to be sent from the UK to Mexico and then to the person who they belong to.
Well, I should be up in the US. I should be up in the US in a few weeks, so I can get them there. I'll sign them. I'll send them to you to sign, and then from there,
that's still a lot of air miles. I think maybe if they're in the US, you sign them. If they're in, I think maybe not signed. We'll just send the book.
Could be discussed.
That's probably the better way to do that. But yeah, we can certainly give away a book or two. Hutchinson's in the comments. Hi man, I haven't seen you in ages. Got to get you back on the show at some point in the next few weeks. How are you doing? Are you well? How's things over in Bangkok? I hope they're normalising a little bit for you. Alison says that she hopes you bought him a pint. The Hitman. I'd definitely buy a Hitman a pint if I saw one in the pub.
I did not buy him a pint, but I did not. I did not. I just stayed out of his way, to be honest.
Yeah, I probably would do the same. Andrew says signed book plates are always an option. What's that?
Is that a typo?
What do you mean by that?
Book plate.
I'm not sure. Do you mean with the signatures like printed in the book? Well, that would work, couldn't it? So it's not actually signed in the traditional sense. I don't know. Let us know, Andrew. Oh. That's Alison says signed postcards. I sent you one, Alison. Did you ever get it? Because Fiona never got hers. The one I sent from Set Him Free. One of these. I've still got.
Alison also asked about, have you got any mugs left? Alison, you know what? My mug never arrived for myself.
I've got one, Alison. Here it is.
Yeah, I think we need to up our merchandise game. Yeah, mine never arrived.
No, you said that. I think what we need to do is just arrange them to be sent direct to the recipient rather than. I mean, we could do a mug giveaway on Friday, couldn't we? Should we do that?
Yeah, I can do a mug giveaway.
But we'll arrange it. This is the sort of conversation that more professional author duos have offline, or off air. But because Steve and I live thousands of miles apart, it just makes sense to do it now. It would make sense to just arrange it to be sent directly to that person, as opposed to then having to be sent to me or you.
I'm the oldest, so I'm going to. We're going to give away 4 mugs, Kayla Stone mugs on Friday, and we'll also give away 2 paperbacks, signed or otherwise. How about that?
Lovely.
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. Okay. Fine, you've heard it here first. So Andrew has clarified what we're talking about. A signature on a sticker type application is a book plate. So you put it on a sticker and then that's put on the. That makes sense, doesn't it?
So you can just mail the sticker instead of the book. Is that right?
Well, I assume I send you or you send me a PDF, not a PDF, like an image file, like a JPEG of the signature, and then I get that printed onto a sticker, and then I stick that on a check. And then I send that to the bank and
you lost me
your money. No, but then I put that sticker on the book and it looks as though you've signed it.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea, actually. I think that's quite. I think that's quite a good idea. But but no, because we're just going to send them direct. We're not going to. That will take too long.
We can definitely do fruit cards because obviously those are cheap to send around the world, so we can do those. That's not too difficult. Yeah, guys, I'm going to be up in the US for 3 months as of in a few weeks' time. It's almost impossible to do that kind of stuff from here in Mexico, but I'm going to be up in the US for a few months, so I'll have much more ability to send things like merchandise and that kind of stuff. And if there's anything else you'd like, it can be arranged for the right price. We can almost arrange anything: t-shirts, swag, all that kind of stuff. It's just, if I hate to say this, but if people are prepared to buy it, we can almost do anything. But it's kind of expensive to do. So if people are prepared to buy those kinds of things, we can arrange it.
It's always I always have to judge this on how long it takes to set up and how much time it takes me away from writing books, because that's what I love doing, and that's what I love to share with you. And I always feel that if I have to spend ages doing it for like one person to buy, I'm a bit like, oh, that's probably not worth the work. But sometimes it might be, actually, and there you go. I can announce excitingly though that I have just put Kathmandu as a hardback. It's available now on Amazon. I have not even bought one myself yet, but I'm going to do that in a minute. I did it earlier and it's just appeared, hardcover. So there you go. Perhaps we can do some of those for hours at some stage, Steve.
Absolutely. I've been looking to do that with all my Kane books as well, but I just haven't found the time to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna order one.
I'm going to spend 1 minute having a little whine to everybody. Writing. There's a bit of a cliche in the book world about writing the books is the easy part, and I have to say that's kind of true. Coming up with a story, that's kind of easy. Coming up with a compelling character, that's kind of easy. Writing a manuscript, I'm not saying it's easy. Obviously, it's a lot of work, and you need to have a certain amount of skill to do it. But writing the book is the easy. All the rest of the stuff is really, really difficult. And Luke might agree or disagree, but some of us aren't very natural at that kind of stuff. We might be writers. We might be quite good at writing, and you guys, thankfully, like our stories. But, there's so much that goes on in the background that I wish you all understood how much work goes into it. This sounds like I'm complaining and whining, and I'm not. I'm very happy to be in this world. It's the best job in the world to be a novelist. But there are so many things that go on in the background just to get that book out to you guys. It's tough. Anyway, there you go. Rant over.
Yeah. No, I agree with you completely, and it is always the way, isn't it? That for everything that you have to do, there's loads of other bits and bobs in the back that sort of keeps it together.
And even when you do everything correctly, like we've done to get this book ready, Amazon goes and messes it up for us. Totally out of our control. And we had 62 people that pre-ordered the book, so thank you for that. Those 62 pre-orders are now cancelled. And there's a chance those 62 people will now not go and buy our book. So Amazon has cost us potentially 62 sales. And that's just so frustrating. There's nothing we can do. So even though we're prepared and organized and do everything on time, forces beyond our control.
It is frustrating. What we're hoping, I mean, we've got half a dozen people on the call now. Others will watch later. And I imagine it's you guys and girls that have ordered it. Some of the people that have pre-ordered that, and you'll know that and go on and buy it. Andrew says he's already gone and got his, so thank you for that. And I'm absolutely certain we'll do that. On the flip side, though, Steve, I always think, and I don't know about you, but whenever I see a book that's for pre-order, and if it's not by someone I know, I quite often get a little bit. I'm a bit like, I want to read it now. I get a bit impatient with pre-orders. So actually, sometimes I wait. Sometimes I'm like, no, I'm not going to pre-order it now. I'm just going to see if it arrives again, and see if it comes into my orbit again when it's actually out.
Yeah. So maybe it's worth asking the guys on the call now: do you actually care about pre-orders?
Good point.
Because it's a little bit stressful to do. So if you guys were to tell us, no, we don't need that pre-order, just tell us in an email when it's ready. I mean, that does take a bit of stress away from us. So maybe we should consider not doing a pre-order for. I think we've already done pre-order for book 3, but maybe after that we shouldn't. There's no need. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think let's see what people say. Let's see what people say here, and we'll come up with an idea. Let's have a look at some of the comments because there's loads of great ideas that people have said. Fiona says to use Zazzle, which must be a service for sort of print-on-demand merchandise, which sounds like a great idea. I'd be well up for that.
Never heard of it.
No, nor have I. Alison says tote bags. Yes, how cool would that be with the cover on?
Yeah.
You know, or we could get our designer to knock up something separate, so it's like 3 books or whatever it might be.
The company I used to create those mugs, Luke, just flash your mug, could you please?
Where did I put it?
The company that I used to make the mugs, they do all sorts of things: postcards, tote bags, T-shirts, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's great. So, are we going to do the same design for the giveaway Friday?
Yeah. Although, is that Natalie or is that Kayla on there?
No, this is Kayla. This is the new one. There's a classic downstairs, which is the classic one, which has the old name on it, which Alison noticed. Alison and Mark noticed was a mistake on the on one of the pre-order pages. Which I thought was quite funny.
So Fiona, thanks for the recommendation. I'll definitely look into that because if there was one-stop shop for everything, that would be really easy.
Oh, Matt, a new person I've not seen. Welcome, Matt. Thank you for dropping by. He says, I plan on reading your books. Do I need to start from the first book? Do they follow on?
Good question. Matt's an old school mate from high school, and we just reconnected on Facebook. Good lad. Thanks for asking. I think it's better to start at the beginning.
Yes.
Set Him Free as our intro to the series, and you can get that free on Book Funnel. Or it's available on Amazon for 99 cents. But Matt, if you just send me a message, I can send you that one.
Oh yeah, do it that way.
And it is it is better to read in order because the characters follow on and the development of the characters is better that way. Yeah, I would say just buy them all and start from the beginning.
I think you could read them out of order should you stumble upon one and want to read it, but it would make more sense to read them in the correct order. Yeah.
The best recommendation is to read Set Him Free today, Set You Free tomorrow, and then buy Set Them Free when it launches officially on Friday. That would be my recommendation.
That would be the best way to do it. Andrew says his to be read list is huge, so pre-orders pay off for me, but I don't always take advantage of them. So you sort of schedule ahead of time, do you, Andrew? No, right, that's out in 2 weeks, so I'll read this book now and that book then, and then whatever afterwards. You're very organised with your reading. Fiona says no, she doesn't think she needs a pre-order, which, yeah, I think as a reader I would think that, actually. Except for if it's a friend's book. If it's someone I know personally, then I always buy it and I always look for, because I know them a bit more. It's a bit more than just like another author. It's sort of someone I know, and I feel like people on people that are watching today, you're in that friends category for me. So if you were to write a book, I'd feel that, and I want maybe that's the same reciprocated back towards them.
I have to say, I'm very intrigued by Fiona's next comment down there. I know what she means, but no, the one before that.
That one.
No, Zazzle does bags, mugs, colanders. I'm pretty sure Fiona means calendars, but I can picture now draining my potatoes with a Kayla Stone colander. I think we should do one.
Great. Yeah, I think so. All forms of kitchenware. You know, spatulas, saucepans,
potato peelers. Yeah, lovely.
Absolutely.
For anyone who peels a potato is wasting the best part, in my opinion.
Mentioning BookBub, it isn't on their site yet. Right, well, that's something we need to do. I'll write that down. I think maybe does BookBub feed through from Amazon? I'm not sure, or is it a separate add-on? I don't know. Do you know, Steve?
Say that again.
Does when a book's added on BookBub, does it appear when you put it on Amazon, or do you have to go BookBub itself? Because you don't have to do it manually, do you? It just appears.
BookBub tells me when they put my books on BookBub.
Yeah, so it's probably just because of that's probably the case then, Alison. That was it. Alison said that. Yeah, Alison. That because it's been cancelled from Amazon and now it's reappeared. In a couple of days, it will probably reappear back on BookBub, which is a shame. And I'm sorry about that because you'd already put your review on there, and I know a couple of people had already. So if it's not too much trouble, we'd love you to do that again.
Probably going to be there on BookBub later today, I think.
Yeah.
Since it's now officially live.
That's it. Yeah, officially live. And Matt says, cool, cheers. I'm an old school hardback reader. I'll message you. Amazing.
That's great. The problem is, Matt, that Set Him Free is a very short introduction to the series, and it's so short we can't physically make a paperback of that because it's too small. Yeah. So for Set Him Free, that will have to be an ebook only. But after that, yeah, paperbacks are available. And soon, maybe in a month or two, actual hardbacks will look into getting done too. I'd love to see one of my books in a hardback. I've never seen one. So.
Yeah, no, I've got to order one. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to order it. And I'll let you know how it comes up. I'll post a picture. I had an idea earlier, Steve, which I thought was quite a good one, and I haven't told you about this yet. But
no.
From what you've just said about the novellas being too short, I had the idea of doing like a novella collection in one book / audio book / paperback of my novella Kotal and our Set Him Free, because I reckon together they'd be big enough to publish in an actual book, and then also, that could be one.
Just throwing up the curve in here. It's been mentioned to be by a good friend of mine, Dave Behrens. He wanted to get together and put all of our close-knit group of author friends, put all of our novellas into one giant box set. So Dave, myself, maybe Nick Thacker, John Hopton. Why not get 6 or 7 of us or 8 of us to put a collection of our introductions to the series in? Then we could definitely do audio, paperbacks, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, see, that's a really good idea, because someone reading through that would then be introduced to like 7 or 8 different series, some of which they'd know, some of which they wouldn't know, and it would be a really nice sort of
because we all give those books away very cheap, free or 99 cents. We could keep the price of that very low too.
Yeah,
that could be a good. Yeah. Let's have a discuss off air later about that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's do that. Anyway, if you're just joining us, welcome. Thank you for stopping along to Books and Beer, a special show today because it's the launch week for Steve and my books. Steve and my book, Set Them Free, the second in the Kayla Stone series, and it's lucky that you're here today because we've announced that whilst it's supposed to be out on Friday, we actually put it live today just to check it was working after a mess up with the pre-orders, just to check it was all going through okay. So you can actually get your copy now. And we'd love you to go over to Amazon right now and just search Set Them Free, my name or Steve's name or both of our names, and it's right at the top of the search there. We haven't made the mistake with this one of putting the name of a popular song. So Set Them Free, actually, I think we arrived top of the search, the Amazon search thing, whereas Set You Free, we're behind loads of that 90s trance hit Set You Free by N-Trance, which I really liked back in the early 2000s and late 90s. But anyway, by the by, so you should be able to find that there. So yeah. I mean, RH has just said this. Ray has just said this. Hi, Ray. Good to see you. Noticed Amazon US has Set Them Free as released June 21st.
Which price is set impossible as well. Because
no. So
you emailed me yesterday that it was cancelled. So
it wasn't then, but it is out now. So go. I mean, you had a pre-copy, haven't you? So yeah, there you go. It's there. It's ready for you. But we're still doing the official launch on Friday. So we're going to have our official launch party on Friday.
On Friday, guys.
7 p.m. UK. What are the others? I'm going to write these down so I can put them straight on my newsletter.
Yeah.
7 p.m.
Matt,
UK.
I know you're a finely tuned athlete, Matt, but I hope you'll join us on Friday, 7 p.m. your time for a pint or two.
And then it was 2 p.m. Is it 2?
Yeah, it's 2 p.m. Eastern time. So New York, Washington, D.C., Florida. Central time, which is my time, is going to be 1 p.m. Mm-hmm. That's Mountain time. And also it's going to be 11 a.m. Eastern Coast. West Coast. California, Washington, Oregon, Chile.
There we go. So yeah, it's that's when we'll be doing a bit of a get together on Friday to talk about the book. We're going to have a couple of beers, and we're going to give away some spoilers, and more than spoilers, we're going to give away some mugs and some what was the other? Some actual paperback copies of the book, which will be really cool.
And some swag.
Some other such swag.
Yeah. You're going to have to hold the fort for a couple of seconds, Luke, while I go and get a refill from there.
No worries. Professional. I was organised. I'm actually having now the Tribute Pale Ale, which is a beautiful one. I still do intend, although I haven't done it yet, to actually contact some breweries and say, I do a Facebook live broadcast every week called Books and Beer, and I'd love for you to sponsor me by sending me some free beer. It hasn't happened yet. I do intend to do it, and will do. And I reckon some of them might just send me a couple of beers every now and then, and that'd be really nice, just to be able to talk about a different pint, actually, a different tipple, because you can just.
What about Kayla Stone beer mugs or wine glasses?
Yeah, is that a thing? That could work. That'd be great.
Or like cozies, beer cozies. Why not?
That's lovely beer, though. What are you drinking, Steve? You just say
I've got vegan white wine, as you can obviously you guys know it's vegan because naturally it's vegan, but it's called Reservado. It's Chilean white Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
Cheers, salute.
Cheers. Yes, indeed. Right. Amazon is all FU. Got another author. Second edition is not updating content, and author attempts to update some Polaris. Yeah, it's quite complicated, isn't it? Sometimes they do go a bit over the top on certain things. The
truth is, Amazon is a pain in the arse. Us indie authors, we need Amazon. It's almost impossible to have a career as an independent author without Amazon. So we need them. We must have them. But honestly, it's a real pain in the ass dealing with them. We all shop on Amazon for other things. We love the service that you can get, but to be an independent author on Amazon can be really difficult at times.
It can be. They do some great things, though. That's the way it is, isn't it?
Luke's much more diplomatic than I am.
I know. That has come across in this call, actually, because you've had a couple of little, Yeah,
I'm just grumpy.
Just get a bit off your chest, haven't you? Over the last 40 minutes or so.
If I might take a liberty here, I'm just going to give a friend a shout out. I don't think he'll be listening to this. It's my good friend Pete Ross's.
Yes.
He's an older Canadian guy. He lives here in San Miguel, and him and I are good friends. And he's launching his book's been available for a couple of weeks now, but he's having a big launch party today. And I want to mention it because in town there's a biblioteca, the library. It's 150 years old. It's a beautiful old building, and he's having the event there. He sold 150 tickets, and all proceeds are going to the biblioteca, the charity. Which I think is an amazing gesture. It's costing him a few $1,000s to have had all the paperbacks shipped. He's giving them away as part of the ticket price. So I just want to give a big shout out to Pete because I think that's a great gesture. And by the way, it's really an amazing book. It's a really amazing book too.
Yeah, so, I've not read it yet, but I have got a copy of it on my Kindle ready to go. It looks great. The premise is great. Alison sent me a photo of her white wine as well. Look at this. Oh, I don't know if it's going to come out. There really should be on this software like a text-in message feature, shouldn't there? To send images in. There you go.
StreamYard, if you're listening, add images or add attachments to your comment section, please.
Maybe it even works and we don't know about it yet. We haven't thought about it enough. But But yeah, right. We're going to just do about another 5 minutes or so. We're not going to go over the hour today because we're waiting for Friday. We're going to do a proper launch party then. So set your clocks to it. Put a reminder in that's the official Set Them Free launch party. And we will have beers. We will have some music in the background that doesn't stop copyright rules. We'll just have a really nice time. The last one I really enjoyed. We chatted for about an hour and a half, didn't we, about all sorts of stupid things.
I just had a random idea, and maybe I shouldn't say this live here, but what do you think, Luke, about doing a Zoom on Friday so we can invite guests to join the Zoom chat?
Well, we can. No, we can invite people in on this, because I can get the invite link. We can have up to 10 participants in on StreamYard.
Ooh. Okay, how do you feel about that? Don't want to spring it on you in public, but
who would? Well, let's see. Yeah. Who would be interested in joining us on Friday live on the call for would want to be live with us right here on this screen, because it can go up to, I think it can go up to 10, this software.
But can you then still broadcast that live?
Yeah, it's the same. So it's the same. It's the same way as you got in. So that I said we post the link on the screen or on your Facebook group or on my Facebook group, and anyone clicks on it who they want to, and then they appear and I can let them in or not. Right. And then it broadcasts to anyone else who listens.
We could have a live Q&A with up to 10 guests or something.
Yeah, exactly. So if you would be interested in joining us live or on screen, you can have your camera off if you want to. You don't have to have your face here. You can just use audio if you prefer not to be seen. But if you'd like to be seen, that's great. Alison says, yes. Right, Alison, we are getting you in on the call on Friday at 7. You deserve that because you're always here and we appreciate that so much. So definitely.
Cool. Now I'm nervous. I wish I hadn't said that.
Well, you're in already. You're here anyway. It doesn't make any difference, does it? Oh, Fiona's up for it too. She'll be here. So that's 4 of us. I think that's a really good idea, Steve. Let's do that. We'll put it out to our.
The logistics of that though, with the invites and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, what we'll do is for people that are here, we'll post in the comments, and then they'll see it and they click on the comment should they want to come in, and then they can come in. Anyway, it's quite straightforward. We can do that. It's a great idea.
Let us know.
So that's what we'll do. Party clothes, party vibes. It'll be nice to actually speak to Alice and Fiona, because I've conversed with you often on email and things like this, but not sort of as face to face as we get nowadays, you know.
Cool.
Excellent. So we will sort of wrap this up, because it's been lovely to talk to you, and we've been talking for almost an hour, which is generally as long as we need to talk during a normal Books and Beer. But we're back on Friday for a live Books and Beer party, in which we're celebrating Set Them Free's launch. We'll be here at 7 UK time. We went through them all. I wrote them down. 7 UK time, 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Western, or Pacific time. And we will be having drinks. We'll talk about the book. We'll be inviting some of you lovely people to join us on air, on screen, to talk about.
If I can just say, because you guys know the book is actually live now, and some of you have kindly already gone out and bought it, if you could get your reviews up before Friday, we can read out some of the reviews in the call. That's really helpful to us, because it helps other people find our books. So it's good for everybody. So if you could get a review up as soon as possible, we'd appreciate it, and we'll read them out on the call on Friday.
Absolutely. That'd be great. Right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget that we still see the comments if you do them after the time. So please do that. It's still lovely to hear from you. If you like my page and subscribe to my YouTube channel and do all that business, that's lovely as well, because that helps other people find us. We will see you right here on Friday evening. I'm absolutely excited. Bye.
Take care.